Welcome to Pink Caddy Garage. Today we are working on something really old, which is a 1954 Ford NAA agricultural tractor. And this isn't just a recreational build here. We just bought a 30-acre farm a few months ago, and we've got a new tractor, which works great, but I found that having a second tractor would be really good and helpful around here. This one hasn't run probably, original owner said at least 10 years, maybe a lot longer. So it could be the first time this century that this tractor is operational. Got another video that shows how we got the thing running and pulled it out of the field. But after we got it running, I noticed that after about 2 or 3 minutes of run time, it would quit running and not flow fuel. So even though I had replaced some fuel parts and filters and sediment bowls, there was so much rust in this tank that it was just never, I was going to be fighting that forever. So I ordered a new tank, and I've gone ahead and loosened everything up and taken most of the fasteners out. But I thought it would be helpful for those of you that might be tackling this to at least see the steps. So let's get started. We're going to start at the front of the tractor right here, where there are just 2 bolts, and as you can see, they're already gone. But you're going to want to get, and they're backed up by a nut, so you're going to want to get a couple of wrenches on there, or sockets, and it's amazing anything's still holding that one. There's so much rust, but it was. So we got those 2 out, and then not much in the middle here, and then you're going to have fasteners in the back, and I'm going to pull this cover off in just a second and show you what they are. But seeing from the outside, you're going to see 2 bolts right here, 2 bolts on the underside here, near this makeshift starter button, but that's where your key should be if you've got an original tractor. And then on the other side of the tractor, same story, you're going to have these 2 bolts, these 2 bolts, and then the ones that are really hard to see, I'm going to show you once we get the cover off, but there's a couple kind of right here and the same thing on the other side. I'm going to go get some help and lift this thing off, and we'll take a look. And great. All right, so that kind of spreads out, and then we want to clear this radiator, so grab it down below that headlight with your other hand and lift hard. Hold it. Good. All right, let me work my way around it. Come around, then we'll set it behind the tractor. All right, with that hood and engine cover out of the way, take a look at what we did here. So you've got these 2, which are visible from the bottom when the cover's on, these 2 which are visible, and these which are invisible. I think earlier I said they were here, but that was incorrect. They're up here. And then you're ready to start working on taking the tank off. So the tank, you're going to want to get a 7/16 tubing wrench, which I've already got this fuel line off here. You've got a 1/2 inch nut and bolt here in each back corner. And then the front end's kind of interesting. If you've never done one of these before, I hadn't. You basically got I don't know, try the other side. Pretty much got that little spring and bolt. And if we look at the new tank, you can kind of see how that works. Let's take a look at that. So this is the bottom of the new tank, and this is the front. So you can see we've got a square here, and that is a carriage bolt that spring is on. So we're going to pull that tank off and make a little bit more sense of how this thing goes together after we see that. All right, so we've got our corner bolts out, and then this, of course, this is your muffler right here on the left side of the tractor. This is a shield, so you can see there where 2 bolts were holding that shield. This brace on the tank, those need to come off. And then really all you need to do is loosen the nut that is on the little spring, below the spring. Again, that's going to be right there. You're not going to take it off, but you're going to want to get it loose just so you've got a little bit of room to work. Now let's try to get this thing off. So at this point, all the fasteners should be off. You're going to want to lift from the back, and then just lift it up an inch or 2 and slide back. A little easier on this one because this tank's empty. So with this old tank, you can see same slot, it's kind of squared off here, and what that is matching up to is the square part of this carriage bolt here. See if we can kind of see the squareness there. So that is going to be locked in to this bracket, and then once you loosen it, it is going to allow you to pull up and create a little clearance so that you can slide that tank off. That should be it. So that's what about, I don't know, 50-something years of debris. No, that'd be 70-something years, wouldn't it? Anyway, I think this tractor's probably been worked on a lot. It used to be red, now it's blue, so I don't know how many years worth it is, but it's got a lot of dust and things, and crud and dirt dauber nest and yellow jacket nest. We're going to clean this thing up later, but right now we're going to test fit this new tank. All right, let's compare these two tanks. I already like this one better because it's prettier and it's not full of rust and it doesn't leak. Hopefully it'll fit. As you can see, we've got our sediment bowl here on our original tank, which is going to go there. Originally that had this plug in that position, so I had to move it over, probably because this tank is made to fit more than one tractor. And then this new tank also came with a bracket, mounting bracket for the back, which we will put on after we've done our test work and all, but that's going to replace this nice looking piece right here. So just setting it into place, everything fits. We've got our little carriage bolt on up there. This corner looks like it's going to line up pretty well. Let's get a little bit more fitting done. The other corner looks like it may have taken a little bit of a hit in shipping, so we'll get some channel locks or a rubber mallet or something and bang that back into position. Well, with a little bit of help from a 3-pound hammer, got that thing where it'll line up pretty good. I'm not going to put a fastener in it yet. We've got one over there. We're not going to drive this tractor, but we do need to leak test it and just make sure we aren't leaking at our sediment bowl that I just put in, or our fittings, make sure our cap fits. All right, we put in, I don't know, about 2 gallons. I've read that you may have to have 3 gallons for this thing to flow, but we're going to turn this fuel valve on and see. I don't see any leaks anywhere else. So you can see, hopefully, that's flowing really well. Definitely wasn't getting that with the old one. So we're going to let that fill up for a second, and then while it's doing that, as it gets up to the top, it should flow down that fuel line. Whoops, we're leaking. I don't know. Do we need to tighten that fuel bowl up? I'd say yes. How to tighten that fuel bowl up. Let's try it again. Still leaking. All right, take it apart and reseal it. So the little rubber gasket that seals this bowl to the aluminum piece here was, I guess it's not very reusable, so I went and got a new cork one. And the new fuel line came in at the same time, so go ahead and put that on. So when you're checking for leaks, obviously the tank itself, where it's seamed together, you need to make sure you're good there. If you did have to put a plug in here, make sure that is not dripping. And then going out here, as long as we're dry here, we're going to make sure our fuel line fittings work on this side. And now on the left side of the tractor, just make sure that your fuel line fitting, carburetor and everything, you've got no leaks, you should be good to go. So with our new tank in place, our fuel system should be solid and ready to move on to the next thing. I am going to change the oil and filter right quick, so that's our next video. If you'd like to see how that's done, stick around. And thanks for watching.